Hey guys, Steven here, Fanatic Perspective. I'm going to go live real quick. Just talking about game one, the NBA Finals. The Boston Celtics over the Dallas Mavericks. Big Hoops fan, so I figured I'd try to do something a little different on this platform and do our recap this way. So we'll see how it turns out. And if y'all rocking with it, we'll do more. But look, in Boston, and just full transparency, I've been traveling and all sorts of things, so I wasn't really able to voice my predictions. I know I tweeted before Celtics in 6. I felt as though this is going to be a really, really good series. I still think it will be a very good series. I actually said, the Mavs will probably win one of the two games in Boston. We'll see come Sunday. But tonight, the Celtics definitely set the tone. I mean, this is one of the all-time great shooting basketball teams, three-point shooting basketball teams we've ever seen. You have 8 players who have hit 100 or more threes this season, 7 of those 8 shooting over 37%. And the one that's not is Jaylen Brown, who looked like at times Hakeem Olajuwon today in the paint defensively, and had his fingerprints all over the basketball game. I thought the key, that first half by Kristaps Porzingis, playing the way he played against his former team after a month off. I was talking to my boy Smee. Shout out to Smee. I thought he was going to be, we both of us when we were talking yesterday, we thought he was going to be rusty as hell, and really a focal point both offensively and defensively, from a conditioning standpoint, from a shooting standpoint. Will he be in rhythm? He answered those questions emphatically at home, and I think he fed off a lot of the energy when he got going early. Coming off the bench. They had Derek White and Al Horford out there, so, Kristaps was able to ease into the game. A lot of the defensive focus and pressure that Jason Kidd threw out there tactically was actually at Jason Tatum. And one of the keys, if I had made a preview to this series, it would have been Celtics in 6. Jason Tatum's not the best player, but he has the best team and to leverage his team. I think a lot of these guys that have gone up against, especially Luka, because of how great of a basketball player Luka Doncic is, and how, the intimidation factor, how clutch he is, and the overall impact he has on the game, especially offensively. I think a lot of guys, fellow superstars, especially wings, try to keep up with him. And for me, looking at this series, and especially the way that Boston had played both games versus the Mavericks this year, Jason Tatum, you don't have to outplay Luka. You don't have to be better than Luka. You just have to play your game, play your best, and leverage it because you have the better team. Kyrie Irving, he's the made man in Boston right now, and they're after him tenfold with the Kyrie suck shits and all the chants and whatnot. But he didn't have a good basketball game tonight. There was several bunnies around the rim for him. For others, they were high difficulty shots, but for him, where he didn't finish it normally where he does, and I think he ended up with only 12 points. And that's not going to cut it. If Kyrie has a series like he did against OKC, where he was, dealing with Cason Wallace and those younger athletic guards, guys that were able to stay with him. I mean, tonight, whether it was Drew Holiday, which is a testament to how good Drew Holiday is, Derek White, the Celtics. I mean, for what they lost in, losing their heart and soul in Marcus Smart, they gained championship experience and just versatile two-way guys that can switch everything. You feel comfortable, even with the Kyrie Irving with the basketball. You feel comfortable with that. So to hold him to 12 points, if that's going to be the case for Dallas, they're going to get swept expeditiously. If he's only going to have 12, if he's not going to hit threes, he missed a lot of open threes. If it's only on Luka's shoulders, this was the stat of the night. Luka Doncic, 1 assist One assist. Now, yes, he's the leading scorer in the NBA, but this is a guy who averaged damn near a triple-double this year, right at 9 assists a game. And for him to have one assist tonight, Dallas has been one of the best teams I've seen in years as a lob threat. That was something that they just made money on in the Western Conference playoffs. And just repeatedly, those lob actions, whether it was Gafford or Derek Lively or even, Derek Jones. And Boston defended that so well. The scouting was on point. The switching was on point. The communication was on point. And they also used their talent, their length, their ability. Porzingis is still 7'2", excellent defender. And you kind of saw the defender that Porzingis was when he was on the Knicks, especially as a shot blocker and a rim protector. So that was impressive to see tonight. Luka, Luka's Luka. Luka's Luka. He's gonna get his. He's gonna hit his. He's gonna get to his spots. He's gonna hit his step backs. What's good, Andrew? What's good, Landon? How we doing, man? I'm just talking ball right now. Hopefully everybody's doing well. But Luka's gonna get to his spots and hit his shots. And there's a level of difficulty that he just great players. He's one of them. They're going to get their number. But when Boston is able to hold him to one assist, now granted, guys on the Mavericks, there was a lid on the rim for three of the quarters. The only quarter they really were effective was, good parts of the third quarter where they made that big comeback, cutting it down from 20-something to like 8 points. But to take away those lobs, it reminded me of a lot of the coverages the Spurs used to run against Phoenix when Steve Nash was going crazy. That type of defensive where it's basically like, nah, Nash, go get 40. You're a great shooter. You can score. Go get and I feel because you look at how Boston played their drop coverage versus how Minnesota played their drop coverage. There's little nuances there where Derek Lively and Gafford were so much on the baseline that when Luke is playing and he's trying to drop the ball off to his guys and get his bigs going, he's dropping it off the baseline. Either they're fumbling the basketball because there's no space, or they're catching and they're going into a contested shot around the rim, and it's just not as effective. So to hold Luka Doncic to one assist, I don't think I've seen that before, especially in a playoff game, a high leverage game like this. So while he got his 30, they held the others at bay. I think P.J. Washington and Jaden Hardy were the only other guys that were in double figures outside of Kyrie. So very, very effective job. But Boston offensively, that's where they're just a better basketball team. And it's going to be interesting how Dallas counters, because Dallas has the best player in the series in Luka Doncic. And the Boston's team, you have Sam Hauser coming off the bench, who's a freaking sharpshooter, 40-something plus, and you see how shot ready he is. As soon as he's catching, his knees are bending. He's going into motion as soon as he's catching the ball in the corners. That's really, really, really difficult to defend. That's really, really difficult to close out on. And that only gives Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum more room. The fact that Jason Tatum didn't even have a field goal attempt for the first, 20 minutes of the game is a testament to how good that basketball team is. The fact that he could just chill and allow the game to come to him, defer to his teammates, guys are cooking. They had 7 guys. I mean, I talked about the 8 guys that hit 100 threes this season. 7 of those 8 guys tonight hit at least 2 threes. Peyton Pritchard didn't score. He was 0 of 5. He's normally around 8 to 10 points a game himself, hitting a couple threes, and he's one of those 103 guys. So he didn't even score. But when Kristaps is there and and Boston's running that 5-out system, super, super impressive. So now with that being said, I would not be surprised if Dallas wins game 2. The thing about Boston is they've had every series I've seen them play with this group, they have a WTF game. Now, sometimes they still win the WTF game, like you saw in the Pacers series, but they will have a WTF game. What do I mean by that? They will have a game where they live by the three, die by the three, and the thing is, you can't play off of any of them, but there's going to be a game where the lid is on the basket for them. And Dallas has to win those games. And Dallas has to slow the pace down as well, and which I think Jason Kidd and the Dallas staff, there's some adjustments I see that they can make to muck up the game a little bit. So even implementing some of the things that Cleveland did against Boston in the second round. I know Cleveland, lost the series, but they had success, especially with Evan Mobley and some of those guys defensively keeping some things at bay. I think they need to really look at some of the tape there to see some of the stuff they can take away and how they're going to counter how Boston is hedging on pick and rolls. They're doing a really, really good job defending the pick and rolls, at least tonight, something that Minnesota did not do well. Minnesota, is as good as Minnesota is defensively, they also didn't have a natural body to throw at Luka the way Boston does, whether it's Brown, Tatum, even Drew Holiday. Because Drew Holiday, 6'4", but he's strong as hell. You saw him how he muscled P.J. Washington down all the way underneath the cup for a layup. I mean, that guy's championship basketball. But there's some adjustments I see there for Dallas, and obviously it comes down to making shots as well and playing intensity. I also think Dallas was nervous that first half. It's the NBA Finals. It's a different stage, and the intensity. Boston's been at this stage before. And I don't think they get enough credit, especially Jason Tatum. The amount of times been in the conference finals, but they were here against that Golden State team in 2022, and they were actually up 2-1 in that series. And I think there's lessons learned, especially as a collective group. A lot of the same faces there, and they came out to send a tone. They leveraged home court. They came out to really assert their dominance and show why they've been the best basketball team all season. 64-18 is nothing to sneeze at. And I bet Boston to win the championship before the season started. Full transparency. I love the offseason acquisitions that they had made, as well as Tatum and Brown getting his contract and them just maturing. But Dallas with Luka and Kyrie's going to be heard from. Okay, he's not going to. But he, as I say, he will be heard from. Derek White, Drew Holiday. That's a tough matchup. That's a tough matchup. Boston has those aspects to at least have serviceable defense on Kyrie at all times. So, really curious to see how Jason Kidd adjusts to that, but. I think we will have a good competitive series. Tonight was a learn. The Mavs. Look at it. Here's where they've earned the benefit of the doubt as well. They got blown out game one. OKC. They got blown out game one against the Clippers, and they've bounced back. They bounced back within games. I mean, they had the 31-point comeback against the Clippers. They almost came back from 29 tonight. So they're a team that can string together runs, that can get stops, and leverage Luka and Kyrie just to be, that special 1-2 punch that we sometimes see in NBA history, whether it's, Kobe, Shaq, Mike, Scotty, Steph and Clay, like those type of awesome dynamic players that can just, have people mesmerized. But tonight, Boston proved best team all year, best team out the gate. Curious to see what the adjustments are. And everybody that's tuning in right now, what's up? I see the waves. Just a little late night chat, but wanted to try this out and talk a little basketball before I hit the hay and get after it tomorrow. We'll have more football content and all that good stuff that many of you are here for on the channel. Just a lot of travel, a lot of work. But we still here, we still outside, we still repping Texas as always. No worries. And I'm excited for things to come. But just winding down with some hoops. NBA Finals, Boston up 1-0. We'll see what happens on Sunday. I think this Dallas team, again, would not be surprised. Would not be surprised if they win game 2 and come back to Dallas 1-1. That's been their MO these playoffs. B. Santiago said, great, by the way, great season by the softball. Texas ladies, absolutely hook 'em, hook 'em, hook 'em. You know, they were at a disadvantage playing up there in OKC for the freaking college World Series, but hook 'em to the Texas ladies. Great season. All right, I'm enjoying my nightcap, and if y'all send me a message, hit me up if you like IG lives. I'll do more, and yeah. So I appreciate y'all. Over and out. Peace.